Hi, welcome to this week's edition of Ask Mike. My name is Mike Blissett, and it's great to have you on board to be watching either whether you're live or whether you're watching this on Facebook, playback, catch up, whatever they call it. I say that whatever you call it every week. I think one week I should find out what phrase or term Facebook have for when they record things and put them on your newsfeed. So anyway, whether you're here now, whether you're doing that, welcome. Thanks for checking in and coming to the call. I've got a couple of questions this week, and I'm going to go straight into them. The first one is from Dean. And Dean messaged me, I think, just after last week's call. So sorry, I'm scratching and all that. Dean contacted me. Yeah, hello, the people that's on there now. That's great. I've just got some messages on my screen. Yeah, Dean contacted me about 6 days ago. So I think the day after the last Facebook Live call. And Dean is a trainer. He lives in the Midlands in the UK. And his question was, as a trainer delivering basic courses in things like basic types of hygiene, so I'm guessing within the industry, within the place he works, I often come across language barriers with some of the attendees or the people that come to my training. What advice can you give as I find my voice getting higher and also louder, talking to them as if they're deaf? Now, I'm smiling when I say that. I know it's kind of, it happens. I think we've all either been in that situation or experienced somebody else being in that situation of somebody just thinking that either talking louder or even slightly raising the pitch, getting higher, will somehow make it more understandable. And of course, the reality is that it doesn't. So that's a really great question. I think the reality is that as we all move around the world more today, I know I do, and so many people that I work with and companies that I work in, whether it's here or in different parts of the world, they always have this or can have this challenge. So I've written some ideas down, just things that I think about. I don't use them all the time, but I'm just going to share them with you, Dean. And if any of these are helpful to you, then I think it's been a worthwhile Facebook Live post today. So the first one is, rather than raising your voice or the pitch, raising the pitch, I can't believe that. Dean, lower your voice. What I would suggest is just slow down quite a bit, probably about half the speed of how you usually talk. What I've learned as a trainer and also as a performer when I was a singer and worked on the stage is that as we either become nervous or slightly agitated or on edge in some way, one of the ways that we kind of show that is that our speaking, our words speed up. And so I think in that situation, I've certainly experienced other trainers, and I've been one of those trainers before, where only if somebody has told me or if I've seen a playback, if it's been recorded in some way, and I hear what I've done, and I think, my gosh, it's double speed. So if you can consciously, as a trainer, slow down and really think about how you pronounce your words. And again, it comes back to kind of acting, just really moving your mouth so your mouth really opens and you produce the whole word rather than, as we do when we're talking normally, kind of flattened or shorter versions of it. So really think about how you're pronouncing words, and as I say, slow what you're doing down, I guess just a little bit, certainly, or probably quite a lot. And I think that really helps. I'm thinking also when I'm training, and especially the training and work I do here in London, I mean, people that are not only here that live in London from different different countries and speaking different languages, but people fly in from other countries just for the events. And English is sometimes a second, third, or even fourth language. And I'm still having trouble with my first one, English. So what I've noticed, one of the things I've noticed is to just really be clear on the English words that we use, and that they're not slang words or local words or kind of made up lingo or in industry speak, because that might not be in the dictionary, that might not have been in the language class or learning that the people attending your courses might have been on. So that's something else. Also, if you can, use visual aids. I use things like PowerPoints. If you have PowerPoints, great. Again, just keep them visual. And if you've got any things you can print up, again visually, that can show your attendees what you mean with regards to things like the training, the basic hygiene as well. That can be really useful. If you can, if it's a particular language that you find people that are attending your programs have, and depending on their skill in English and the detail of the knowledge you need to give them in your training, think about, is it worth translating or having a few words translated, perhaps on a PowerPoint, or maybe on something you print up with a graphic, just to help. As I say, not the whole thing, but just kind of key phrases or keywords. If you need to, you might not need to do that, but and I don't do that, but I've seen other people that do, and with especially very detailed and complex training, it can just save a lot of trying to find a way to explain it that connects, that makes it easy for the other person to understand what you're trying to train. And then also, as a trainer, show rather than tell as much as you can. I think as a trainer, and I've no idea how you are as a trainer, but I know many of the training events I do, time is sometimes tight, it's short, and the quickest way to convey what we want to talk about is just to say it really quickly. But equally, you can convey that information by either showing an example or showing in some way what it is that you're talking about, rather than just talking about it. For example, in the training I do in companies, for example, whether it's how to stand in front of camera, or how to introduce yourself, how to get somebody's attention when you're in a meeting and there's six other people around the table and they've all got a point of view they want to say, and you can't get your kind of your words into the meeting, rather than just explain on a flip chart how we can control that or have an influence on that, actually just to have a table with some chairs around it and give a demonstration. So show rather than tell. So hopefully some of those things are useful. And thanks very much for the question, Dean. If you have any supplementary to that, or if I kind of missed the mark with the kind of ideas I came up with, then please get back to me and let me know. I'd be really interested in that. And give this stuff a go if you want, and see what happens. And just let me know, because it'd be really useful, and I'd be really interested to see how this works in your industry, because I don't work in this area. I do a lot of training, I do a lot of speaking, I work with a lot of people, but I don't work in training in things like health and safety and hygiene and these kind of things. So that's why I'm really interested in if these are helpful for you. So thanks a lot for that. The second question, and this week I'm going to be covering two questions, is one that came in, I think it was earlier today, Victoria. Hi, Victoria. Thank you very much for the question. And yeah, Victoria asked, well, she wrote, and it was a Facebook message. She said, "Hi, Mike. In your opinion, what's the quickest strategy to get speaking gigs booked? Preferably paid, but not necessary." So, first of all, thank you very much for that question, Victoria. I really do appreciate that. And again, I'm not quite sure where you are in your speaking experience or your speaking journey, and so what I'll run through may or may not be completely applicable to you. Some of it might be a little bit further ahead than you are. Some of it might be actually you've already done that already. So and if you need to clarify that afterwards, again, just message me. And yeah, but if I can help, that would be great. So what I think is a good phrase. I've written a lot of blog posts through the years. I think I made a video or did something recently in the last month. This phrase, from free to fee. And I think it's that transition, whether you're a coach, a trainer, a speaker, to go through that barrier. And for a lot of people I've worked with, it is a barrier. But it's a barrier, it's an internal barrier. It's in the person's kind of unconscious. It's not actually a physical barrier. And the proof of that is everyone that is actually speaking or training or coaching, and they are getting paid for it. So it shows that it is something that we can get through and we can learn to deal with. And so I'm a big believer in kind of biting the bullet here. So if we were coaching, I'd be challenging you at this point, from this point on, to see yourself totally as a paid speaker, as a professional speaker, a speaker who gets paid for their work. So that's what I want to challenge you with. And if you could get back to me and let me know that you're accepting this challenge, it would be great. So that presupposes that you have a fee. And if you don't, now's the time to start thinking. One, fees are not etched in stone. They're written on pieces of paper or on documents on things like computers. So we can change fees, and speakers and trainers and everybody else does all the time. It's fine. But start with a fee. And then from this point on, believe that you are a professional speaker. And the kind of groups that I and some of my colleagues started speaking with are things like the various BNI, Business Network International groups. Occasionally they have speakers go for their special days, or equally just to go and give a 60-second as a guest is a great way to practice. They do say it's much harder to give a 10-minute presentation than it is a day's training or a 1-hour keynote, and equally it's even harder to give a really great 1 minute. So if you can do a minute to win it at a BNI, it would be amazing. And you might see a real return on that. Equally, organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, lots of Rotary groups, not only in the UK, but around Europe and the world, and they have speakers pretty much every month. Also, places like the Women's Institute, the WI. Now, some of these groups pay. They don't usually pay a lot, and some of them expect you to do it for either free or they'll pay expenses, so travel, or some of them, if they're having a dinner. For example, some of these organizations, they meet once a month or every quarter or something. They'll have a really nice meal in a nice hotel, and they'll have a speaker or somebody like you. And so sometimes they pay by treating really well there. So you get a really nice meal, and they'll pay for the petrol or your cab fare or something. And sometimes they do actually pay, for example, a few £100 as well. So just think about that. The thing is, because you're a professional speaker, from this point on, that means a professional speaker has a contract. So in your contract, it should have your fee. So even if you speak to an organization for free, still send them a contract, and of course tell them that you're going to be, you have everything contracted, and have your fee in the contract. And then at the bottom where it says total, then use the word that works for you. It's complimentary, discount, waiver, whatever works for you, so that if it is free for them or if it's a nominal fee, you accommodate that, but still you're still using your numbers, you're using your fee, you're talking about your fee, and it's there in writing or an email with an attachment that you send to them as well. And so it starts to get the mindset of you being a professional speaker. It starts you getting into that mindset sooner rather than later, because I can tell you, the longer some of the people I know have wrestled with this and seen themselves as someone who speaks for free, the longer they carry on with that, the harder it gets for them in their mind to transition to charging a fee. So as I say, the sooner you can start looking at yourself, seeing yourself as a professional speaker, having a fee, using a contract, and then choosing to waive or make a discount, whatever works for you, it just gets you over that hurdle. It gets you used to talking about money with clients, with prospective clients. And the reason I mentioned things like BNI, Chamber, Rotary, Women's Institute, and there's a heap more, is that whilst you might actually not be paid, or you might not be paid very much, the people that go to these events are people that you should be impressing, because they know organizations, associations, agents that they will introduce you to, that do have a fee, that do have the conferences where you can start to build your business. A lot of speakers try to begin there, and some of them succeed. Many of them find it really hard because they haven't built up the track record. And the track record is what they call stage time. So the more stage time you can get in front of audiences, and document that and video it if you can, or record it on your smartphone, so it's even an audio. Take pictures again with people there, whatever, and just keep a documentary, almost like a diary, a visual diary of your speaking journey. It builds up the track record, so that as people introduce you to or ask you afterwards where else you've spoken, or what else you're looking for, you can say, well, I've done this, and that's what I'm looking for. And I tell you, women's institutes, Rotaries and stuff, people can introduce you there. It's much better, I think, to be introduced, which is really another form, I guess, of a recommendation, because somebody's seen you, they say, oh, she's really good, rather than you just cold calling. Cold calling can get a result, but a recommendation, I think, is so much warmer than that. It's actually so much hotter than that. So hopefully that's useful for you, Victoria. So I think that's a good place to start for today. As I say, some of it will be free, but equally from this day onwards, consider yourself a professional speaker, have a contract, have a fee, and start talking about it and use it everywhere. Don't shy away from that, because the journey between free to fee will be shorter because you've started that journey today. So that's it for this edition of Ask Mike. Hope you found it useful. And just to say, if you have found this useful, or even if you haven't found this useful, it would be very nice if you click like on the video. And I thank you for doing that in advance. And if you're on my page and you haven't yet liked the page, please scroll up to the top of the page, right there up at the top, and click the like button for the page. That means that when I post something, I go live or or post a link to a top tips or a useful guide or something, it'll pop up in your news stream, and you'll hear about it and you can use it as well. So I want to thank you for doing that in advance. And yeah, I just want to wish you, wherever you are I say this every time, wherever you are in the world. I think a lot of people that watch my Facebook live posts are in the UK, but I also know there are people, I just looked at the stats for last week: Cyprus, Brazil, America, Australia, Indonesia, Vietnam, and a lot of countries in Europe, Latvia, Spain, Germany. I mean, there's a lot of people watched in a lot of countries. The majority of people are here in the UK, and so I want to thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. And equally, wherever you are in the world, and whatever time zone you're in, whenever you're watching this, I hope you're having a good day or had a good day. If you have a question for next time, please send me a Facebook message. If you have my email address, if you're on my mailing list, and if you're not on my mailing list and you'd like to be, go to my website, mikeblissett.com. You'll see a link here somewhere on the page, mikeblissett.com, and go there. On the home page, you can sign up. You get a free report there, some top tips on how to grow your business and sign new clients. And then you can email me as well if you want to, your questions. So I look forward to talking with you again soon, and thanks for checking in, and I wish you well. Take care. Bye.